Hello, welcome to Mount Aventine. I'm David Chapman, a member of the Board of Directors for the Friends of Chapman State Park and a descendant of Nathaniel Chapman, who first purchased Mount Aventine in 1751. Today we will be discovering some keys to history through the succession of owners and changes made to one of the most important heritage assets in southern Maryland. This is the story of Mount Aventine at Chapman State Park. Mount Aventine is one of Charles County's most important examples of pre-Civil War architecture, notable for the manner it evolved to its present two-story, five-bay central passage plan that we see today. Our docent, Nancy Megas, will take us on a tour.
So this is the very oldest section of the house. This was built around the earliest we've had it dated by the professional architectural historian was that this was at least 1805. It could have been much earlier. It's made out of cut stone, which was brought across from Virginia. The family actually owned a quarry in Virginia, the Chapman family, but we don't know if that is exactly where this came from, but we know it came from Virginia because there is none in Charles County.
The oldest part of Mount Aventine is the 1.5-story west wing. The wing is 2 bays wide on the north side with a partially exposed stone chimney. Additionally, it is the only dressed stone building in Charles County that predates the Civil War. It is possibly the only example of its kind in all of southern Maryland. It is thought that Nathaniel's grandson, George Chapman, constructed the west wing during the beginning period of the family's fishery, here in the early 1800s. It may have been the fishery office, constructed around 1805. The second-floor bedchamber with its fireplace may have been for use by those working at the fishery. In 2021, through a grant by Preservation Maryland and the Maryland Historic Trust, a bathroom that had been added in the 1950s to the bedchamber was removed to uncover 19th century building techniques and document the eras of construction. The revealed architectural space is now featured in an exhibit that includes a display of early construction tools. Sometime between 1830 and 1840, Pearson Chapman, Nathaniel's great-grandson, expanded the stone cottage to become a home for his family, and later expanded it even further to become the Greek Revival home that we see today. Nancy Megas continues on our tour.
So that's that section of the house, and it ends right here in this great big thick wall. Walls were made this thick because they would fill them with all kinds of trash, so to speak. Pieces of stone, glass, whatever, sometimes horsehair, because of it would insulate the house. So this section was started sometime in the 1830s. And it has, as you can see, it has 2 fireplaces, and it's divided by this wall here, and these doors close together. You can see where they join. And that allowed it to make 2 warmer rooms by isolating the warmth from these fireplaces in that room. And this would have also been 2 rooms, witness the 2 fireplaces. And there's, when the architects were here looking at it, they could see where there was a wall here.
Over the years, Mount Aventine passed through many owners after the fishery, ferry business, and agriculture declined. Mount Aventine has transitioned from the time the Chapmans owned the property to the 1950s. The Countess Marguerite Besnier bought the property from the Hubbard family in 1954, and during her ownership, she made many changes to Mount Aventine. The greatest change was turning the Mount Aventine estate from a tobacco farm to an equestrian farm, and created dozens of riding trails on the property. By purchasing and adding land to the estate that had been part of the original tract, She also helped create the nature preserve that exists today.
And this was the Countess's room. We imagine that these were bedrooms before the Countess was here, but the Countess made this whole thing as her suite. She used this as her dressing room. She covered up the 8th fireplace so that she could have more closets. And this is a walk-through closet that she had built. And those are 3 of her actual dresses that were left in the house. Folks around the area bought them at yard sales. And when we started doing things, our group, the Friends of Chapman State Park, started doing things in the house. They came and asked if we'd like to have the dresses back. And this is her bathroom that she had installed, including a bidet, which was very unusual in the 50s when she bought the house. And then we have 2 more bedrooms over here in the newest section of the house. It's one with a beautiful view of the Cedar Drive, which we don't know whether the Countess put it in or not, but we are inclined to think, because of the age of the trees, that the Countess at least added the cedars to it. And this room again has this magnificent view. And as you can see, these have, you have 2 more fireplaces here. When you look at cupboards like this that are here, that's because you know that when these houses were built, even in the sections they were built, there was no such thing as a closet. They never wasted their energy on that because they did not have that many clothes. They used the armoires, but the Countess, or someone preceding the Countess, had closets built in. But she did help to save the property and the house, and so she is to be thanked for that.
Her step-granddaughter, Dr. Margette Bessonnier Williams, was on hand to help celebrate the Countess at a recent event held by the Friends of Chapman State Park.
Just to give you a couple of ideas of how much she loved her horses. First of all, she never really sold them. She tried to sell them and, would have people look at them, and then for whatever reason, she basically said, no, this won't really work out. The horse needs to stay with me. She also loved entertaining, both in Maryland and in Montana. And my memories of Mount Aventine and her is that we always came down for New Year's Eve and then for Easter. And we had these fabulous New Year's Eve parties and Easter egg hunts where she would invite kids from around the area that we didn't even know. And we'd have these fabulous Easter egg hunts out here in the front, in the woods between the arena and the house. And we would, do relay races, like put your legs in the bag and stuff like that, and run with a partner or trade off eggs and stuff like that. So it was very, very festive.
The one word I can explain Countess Bessonnier is extra. Like her mannerisms, her whole persona was just extra. Her generosity, her kindness to some teen me, that stole sugar cubes from her, from our horse, and her horse, though, because when we went outside, they went back into the family. But she was just extra. And I think she kind of liked my dad a little bit.
I think so too.
But yeah, she was a very gracious, wonderful woman. So
and we were better off knowing her.
Yes. Good woman.
There's a 3rd floor to the house with more bedrooms, which has yet to be restored. There is also access to what was a cupola, but the cupola disappeared many years ago. When it did exist, the cupola provided a 360-degree view from Ferry Road to the Potomac River. The Union Army took possession of the cupola to monitor the river activities after the assassination of President Lincoln. Mount Aventine is a special place with more than 250 years of history. The Friends of Chapman State Park have dedicated themselves to restoring this beautiful home. From the kitchen and its wonderful displays of 19th century kitchenwares to the dollhouse replica of Mount Aventine that attracts the old and young alike. to the Visitor Center that showcases wall-size interpretive panels of the unique cultural and environmental features of the place, to the events that celebrate the people who have owned the property and lived here. Yes, this is Mount Aventine. Now that we have given you some keys to history, I hope you will take the time to discover this wonderful heritage asset in Southern Maryland, Mount Aventine at Chapman State Park.